So this is the webinar, Misconceptions about traveling to Colombia as a digital nomad. So we have a special host, which is Jhon, and Jhon is our ambassadors of the Digital Nomad Association Colombia. Yes. So can we go to the next slide? So this is our team. So this is, so my name is Nadia. I'm a digital nomad. I am from Bogota. I am a Colombian digital nomad. I'm currently in Bogota, but I was in Medellin before, and I'm gonna be, yes, in different countries like for this, this year. Okay. So Maria, hola.
Hola. I'm gonna speak in English for now.
Sí. Okay.
So my name is Marie-Ève. I'm a co-founder of the Digital Nomads Association, Colombia too. I'm a digital nomad. I started my journey in last January. I traveled through Latin America, Europe, and South Africa. I am now in Colombia. I decided to come back to Colombia. And that's why I'm so glad to be part of this project. And I've learned so many things and so many misconceptions and beliefs and situations and stories about Colombia. I'm Canadian, so as a expat or foreigners, let's say, I heard many things. I experienced many things too. So I'm glad today to have this webinar with Jhon and to explore more about it and see what is true and what is not.
Thank you very much, Maria. Carolina.
Hola, hola a todos. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Istok, for being in here because we are like online friends that I've never seen you. And it's great to see you now. Well, I'm from Colombia. I'm from Bucaramanga. I don't know if many of you guys know Bucaramanga. But I started my digital nomad journey not that long ago. I would say like 5 months ago. And I decided to do it in my own country because I know Colombia has so many beautiful places and people. So I decided to do it in my country. I'm also traveling around South America for now. And yeah, I'm so glad to be part of this project. I'm glad to be here and with our ambassador, Jhon, because he's going to tell us interesting things. So yeah, I hope everybody enjoy it.
Excellent, Carolina. Thank you very much. Ah, Macaulay is planning to go to Bucaramanga. Wow. Maybe you can give some tips to her because I have never been there. So
yeah, I can give her some advice.
Excellent. Very good. Francisco, Pancho.
Hola. You can hear me? ¿Sí?
Sí.
Mi nombre es François Francisco y he sido un nómada digital durante 2 años. I will continue in English. I stay mostly in Latin America. I've been in Mexico, Argentina, Panama, Costa Rica, and of course, Colombia. Because I prefer to stay in the same time zone to work with my team in Montreal. To earn some dineros, I write software, and I love Colombia, and I'm now living in Medellin, the city of eternal spring, and it's a beautiful sunny day, 24 degrees, much better than Montreal, having a snowstorm right now and 1 foot of snow. That's it.
Thank you very much, Francisco. Okay, and our community manager, which is Laura, so she is not here, so she says hello. So she's busy traveling as well, another digital nomads and into social media and marketing. So also part of the team, so we have like 2 lovely ambassadors. So can we also, we have to thank a lot to Jhon. So I think Jhon is like very famous on, yes, on the expat community, especially on the Americans in Colombia. So if you don't know Jhon, so you can join like his social media. So he is the manager of Gringo Paisa, Gringo Rolo, Gringo Caleño. So yes, and he's a social media specialist. So, and our second ambassador, which is like the main person for today. So he is Jhon as well. And Jhon, it is a Colombian digital nomad, a very inspiring guy. He has been inspiring myself, especially. So this is how we connected the last year. So we have the opportunity to have like some kind of video calls. He's an entrepreneur and he works helping another entrepreneurs to build their businesses, which is an awesome yes activity that he is doing. So Jhon, this is yeah, this is your time to yeah, for you.
Okay, thanks a lot, guys. Welcome everyone here. So happy to be part of this lovely project. You know, being like Nomad today is like a dream, right? And for my part, one of the first thing that I was thinking when I became a nomad was I want to be free, but geographically. And I know that this is a huge feeling. So thanks a lot, everyone, for being here, for sharing this riot. And well, let's have a fun little bit. Alex, you're about to have a question. Something? Did you raise your hand? Okay, so first of all, I would like to know here the guys who are sharing with us today, who have been here, who already know Colombia. Oh, by the way, I'm talking from Spain, from Madrid exactly. So not as fun and as warm as Francois says, but well, that's it. So have you ever traveled to Colombia here? You know, you can say yes or no right here in the chat, so I can measure, you know. Okay, so let's go for the first one. For the first misconception, well, you know, around the world we have this kind of fame is that Colombia is an extremely dangerous place. And yes and no. Yeah, I have to say something to start with, and it's basically like a cultural behavior. And I usually say, if you feel a victim, you will see yourself as a victim here or everywhere, right? So like somebody saying here, no dar papaya, that is exactly where I'm going. Is it's not dangerous, to be honest. What happened is that sometimes as nomads, we are kind of, how do you say this word? Imprudentes. How do you say that, Nadia?
Imprudentes is like I was just commenting on the chat that this is like
Okay,
no dar
reckless.
papaya. So I will not
Yeah,
translate it to English.
okay.
I will
Yeah,
translate it to another yes, another
yeah,
expression that
yeah.
we
And what
have.
happened is that we're coming from
Reckless.
reckless. Thank you very much. So if we're coming from outside, let's say Europe or United States, well, the quality life here in these countries and these continents are quite different from Colombia, because we can walk here in Europe with the telephone, with the bags or everything, like nothing. It's like if we were at home. Well, in Colombia, we do have to take care of ourselves, but it's not like every day you go to streets and you're gonna be in danger. No, it's not. Okay, but be careful where you're going. Be careful who you sharing your time with. Imagine that I've been noticing here in Europe that you approach to somebody to ask for an address, for an advice tip. You know, where can I find this? Where can I find that? But the first reaction when somebody approaches to us is that we, like Latin American, we always go backwards and we open the eyes and we take the phone and, you know, like we jump like, man, like if the words were guns, and it's not like that. And I say, yeah, that's what happened when we live here. So guys, when you travel to Colombia, if you are foreigners, you are not going to receive that from us, I mean, from Colombian people, because we love foreign people, we love. And if we see somebody with I mean, that is clearly from out of the country, we're always gonna jump to find a way to help. So I don't know if you have felt that. For example, Francois, I don't know, when you're going in the street, or Maria, I don't know. Please share your experience, Marie.
Yes. So of course, as a Canadian, I heard a lot about Colombia before I come here. But I didn't really. I wanted to see it by myself. So that's the first thing. I think, as you said, I didn't arrive with the victim. There was
Attitude.
no attitude. I was like, that cannot be. Like, I'm sure there's a way to make your way and experience Colombia in a secure way and a fun way. So that was my perspective. Of course, it's when you said that it's better not to walk with your cell phone in your hand, to be careful with your bag. That doesn't mean that this is a dangerous place. It's just that you need to be careful about that. And I would say that Colombia is not the only place in the world where you have to be careful with that. Like, for example, when I was in Cape Town in South Africa, I would say I don't like to categorize or judge that kind of stuff, but I was feeling, I will say, less safe in Cape Town that I'm feeling in Colombia, for example. So I think it's just that when you are from Canada or some places in the United States or Europe, and you are not used to just be careful, like be conscious when you are outside, and be conscious that there's other things going on, and be like connected to your environment when you are outside, when you're not used to that, when you are used to be the center of the world. When you go outside, it's just like a different perspective to have, but it doesn't mean that it's dangerous. It's just that you need to be aware. And maybe that's the thing. We are not used to be aware of what's going on when we feel too much safe, I would say, in some place of the world. So that's my experience. And so I nothing happened to me. I will touch some wood. I feel if you are aware, you also get the information that you know where you're going, and everything's gonna be fine. And don't
that's
give
true.
the papaya. Yeah.
And thanks for that, Mary, because that is exactly the advice for this first misconception. Always, before you travel, ask people where are you going to, you see, because obviously we are going to see a map about what we cannot rank, the danger guideline, if we can say so. So always ask before you travel, what kind of neighborhood is this, what kind of people is around, what kind of environment it is, and for sure you can go in advance. That's basically what we have created, this association to be the eyes, beforehand people travel to Colombia. Yeah, just one of the biggest things. And like Kevin is saying here, we have to keep like everywhere, you go a low profile at the beginning, right? Don't be noisy, be cautious at the beginning. So here Jack was asking us, what do we need to be conscious of? Okay, to be conscious of, that's a very good question. The cities are marked, like invisible mark, from areas, and some areas are more difficult than others. I mean, this is around the world anyway. So that is the first advice. Be aware of the zones, the areas that you're going to. Okay, and then obviously you go like Mary saying. The beginning you go cautious, but at the end you go. I mean, you're going with the flow. People getting to know you around the block, and then you will feel like home. I mean, in matter of days, you will feel like home. There is a saying in Colombia that the risk is not to coming. The risk is that never wanted to leave away. Okay. I don't know if Kevin has a question because I see your hand.
Oh, thank you. No, no question. Actually, I just wanted to add on to what Marie said. I visited Medellin about 3-4 years ago for a couple of weeks, and I had a wonderful experience there. Everyone was super friendly, very helpful. Actually, I worked with a gentleman many years ago, probably 20 years ago now. He was from Colombia. He lived most of his life there, and unfortunately, he had to immigrate to the United States. And he just the way he described Colombia, his face lit up every time he would talk about it. He missed it so much. He would almost be in tears when he would talk about it. And he says, you know, I know you like to travel, Kevin. If you ever get a chance to go to Colombia, please go. Please
Lovely.
visit. And I can't agree enough with that. You just, again, you do need to be cautious, and prior planning is key. You need to know where you're going. You need to kind of plan for as many contingencies as possible. And unfortunately, as an American, I'm seen as a walking bag of money. It's very unfortunate everywhere I go. And it was the worst actually in Europe than anywhere else. And I've learned to keep a very low profile, dress horribly. I look like a homeless person when I travel, and it helps a lot. And just be very respectful of everyone you meet, and you know, respect and be humble with the culture that you're visiting, and just try to gather as much information as you can before you go on your trip. I'm going to be traveling to Santa Marta probably later this summer, and so I'm beginning to do research now on that. And if anyone on the call would like to private message me if they have experience about Santa Marta, I'd love to hear what they have, what information they have. But yeah, you just have to be aware. And I know it's different for women versus men. Women have a unique set of things that they have to be aware of, whereas the average man probably does not. And I don't want to sound sexist, but I know my lady friends, they're looking out for different things than I am.
Yes.
So yeah, you have to be aware of that. But I can't encourage people enough to go visit Colombia. I absolutely love it, and I can't wait to get back there.
Man, thank you, thank you. What a lovely words, you know. I was living in Santa Marta precisely like for about 5 months. For sure, I can give you all the tips for that magical place of Colombia.
Oh, thank you.
Actually, yeah, if I had the chance to come back to Colombia one of these days, for sure that Santa Marta will be one of my first, because that the magic, which is, you know, a city surrounded by mountains and the sea, man, that brings and is, I mean, you will see that is a magical place. Here there was Jack asking what kind of contingencies that means and the travel plan. Yeah, sure. And somebody else was asking at the same time that be aware of not going to little towns. Well, listen, when you go, please try to settle your travel to main cities, okay? To principal ones, because once you get there, yes, and you get involved with the culture, I mean, that's going to be very quick. Then you will have, you know, like nowhere it's coming partners everywhere. They will advise you where to go, you see, because that is something that is very, very common there. That is that people love to invite others to find secret places. Those secret places are little towns. So it's better to plan, go to the big city, you know, which there are like 5 or 6 big cities, and then you can go all the surroundings and you will enjoy it. I mean, you will see. It's like you're never going to be alone there unless your personality uh, don't allow you, you know, to share with others. So don't worry. A lot of expats are around. A lot of travelers like me, like, you know, from the same country are around, and this is magnetic, you know. We always get together. It's like we have been created to be together. What are you gonna say, Nadia?
Yes, and this is just like to talk about the little pueblos, the pueblitos, those pueblos, and who is the person that is like saying about the pueblos? So Macali. So I think it's the same as Mexico, yeah. So we have like kind of the same situation because of the drug dealers and because of the violence. So there's a misconception that if you go to pueblos, it's like very, very dangerous. Actually, I feel safe as a Colombian. I feel safer in little pueblos, in pueblitos, in comparison with cities, because we're cities, of course, in any city of the world, it is like so many people, so many things that you need to be aware of, so many things that need to be careful. But it's just like as John says, it's like you just go to the main city near the pueblos and just figure it out what kind of pueblos the locals they recommend you, and you just can go to pueblos and there's no any problems. Of course, the traditional pueblos or the pueblos in the jungle that there has been like the guerrillas or the violence in Colombia, there is no chance that you will reach there. Yes, so you have to be a journalist or you have to be in a specific I don't know, job or work that you reach those pueblos that the guerrilla has been, because this is the other misconception, that the guerrilla has been like in all country, yes, which is not true. Not even Colombians. You had the opportunity. I'm not saying that is a good opportunity, but we have the chance to meet those kind of pueblos. And now with the
Yeah, sure.
resettlement, the things have changed a lot in Colombia. And so you can just put on the chat like recommendations also of pueblos that you have
No.
visited in Colombia, because I saw there's people that they recommended Boyacá, which is like for me one of the most beautiful departamentos in the country. So
Yeah, actually, you know, after 3 years of being traveling and mostly in Colombia, man, I have heard like no more than 2 cases that were, you know, under some kind of, you know, warm situation or in danger, because if you get drunk and you go out of the street, you know, going from the nightclub to your house, well, I mean, do not give papaya, because there's a say, papaya given, papaya taken. All right. So I think that this is nothing different than being any other place in the world. Be aware, be alert, make your homework. Yes, do your
Not
homework and find it.
not quite, but yes, it's like Europe is obviously a little bit of different coming from that culture. Coming to US was also more restrictive of where one goes, and this no dar papaya in especially in Bogota, which was my experience, is even more pronounced than in US. But Europe is generally very permissive from that perspective. So it's for us coming from Europe, it's quite a cultural shock from this perspective.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I totally understand you, and yeah, you're right. If we're talking about Colombia, yes. I mean, we have to extreme the things, because at the same time we have this kind of social and political conflict coming people from other countries, you know, in the neighborhood, you know, countries, the neighbor countries, and unfortunately, not precisely nice people are coming there, and obviously the hometown is bringing their own, how do you say that, their own pulgas, you know, their own, you know, dangerous stuff. I mean, this is actually, I am not selling a paradise, I'm not selling a perfect place, but it's not that critical. I mean, you can tell. Well, let's go for the next misconception. Foreigners in Colombia are victims of salesmen and commerce. Well, imagine that at the end of the year, no, in June, in summer in Colombia. Last year, we were attacked by mass, the mass media saying that people, the local people, salesmen were selling, like for for a plate of dish, a fish, almost $200, which is, ridiculous, ridiculous. Okay, and this kind of little black spots were, like fireworks all around the media, and we have this kind of bad, very bad reputation. But here is what happened. Before you go everywhere, if you go to streets or you go to markets, informal ones, or you are in the beach, always ask the price before you make your order. All right, and then you can have your soul pretty safe, because this is what happened. They're looking for naive people, and this is where the trap is going on. So this is what happened last year. Was amazing. There was embarrassing, you know charge $200-300 for a plate in a beach. That is something ridiculous. But like somebody was saying here, they look at us like a bag of money. Okay, so make your pockets, divide your pockets, for little consumption. You have to have change. It's not like here in Europe that you pay with your car everywhere, right? Well, it's not that easy there. It is. You can find places to pay with your car or even with your phone, but please keep change. Always keep change to avoid, your eyes on your pocket, and divide your money in different places. All right. This is a basic survival thing there, but it's not always like that. Okay, but be careful very much. And it's a very simple, quick advice: ask before you make the order. I don't know if we have questions here. I don't know what you have heard. Somebody have heard about it? I would like to see kind of the other point of view, not precisely mine,
I would
about what
also,
people.
I would like to add something in there. That yeah, like a part is they charge points more than they would charge us Colombians for sure. But for example, in Cartagena, you see a lot of people like selling things in your face and kind of pushing you, kind of thing. I would say the biggest tip in here is just to learn how to say no gracias. Just if you don't speak in Spanish, you're just fine if you say no gracias. Because if you don't say anything or you act rude, they're gonna go after you and try to sell it like stronger. But if you just say no gracias, most of people would understand it, just like, okay, he's not interested, that's fine. So I think that's a big tip, just to say no gracias, and then you're fine in most of places in Colombia for sure.
Yeah,
So
look,
I want to say just one thing, and this is yes, the no gracias is very important, even if you don't speak Spanish. So that's, I think, very easy to to learn. But also
even if
when
you
people they
speak
are asking
Spanish.
for money, homeless or etc., or people they are just selling flowers or candies, they just say, okay, if you don't want to buy a candy, so can you please give me like a coin or whatever? So you just say no gracias, and I think they understand. If they insist, you say again no gracias, and that's it. Yes, so
Yeah,
this is
like
what we do
you.
it because, yeah, so this is the
Yeah,
situation. But I think it's not only in Colombia, so I have seen this in many countries in South America, in Europe, and yeah, so this is like excellent way to say. So you also avoid like those gringo prices, which is like how we call it, or how in the community of digital nomads and expats we call it. Yeah, so it's just to be aware. If you're you just have to compare your supplies. Yes, if you go to the main square, it's like the funny thing that is on the chat, like with parties. Yes, if you go to
yeah,
parties, so it's like, okay, you need to be aware because there's so many touristic trams, of course, also in Colombia. Yeah. So if you go to Cartagena, so perhaps there are like more chances that you get a gringo price. But if you just like compare prices and you just don't take a decision straight, so you can avoid those kind of things. So it's not that difficult. It's just like,
Yeah.
yes.
And, it's very funny what Kevin is saying, that he speaks Russian and then everybody runs away. Well, I can tell. So, no, gracias. Estoy mirando. Ahorita vengo. Yeah. In a very quiet mode. I mean, they will understand. But I can tell, like, I was like a couple of weeks ago, I was in Paris, and man, that is the jungle. That's, I mean, it's quite different from this kind of city. So we are kind of babies, against Paris behavior with the tourists. So that's it. Let's go with another one. Yes, okay. If you travel with dollars or euros, you are rich in Colombia. Well, no, it's not. The difference is quite comfortable for people who bring dollars or euros, right? But we have to take into account that economy is being hitting all over the globe. So and well, you can make a living very quite comfortable. We were saying with Caroline and Neria this morning, like if you, for example, live with, I don't know, with 500 $500, for example, weekly, man, for sure you can make it. Yes, but we have a lot of fun, a lot of good things all around, and then you will see how money will goes away very fast. Okay, so for example, let's talk about like standard prices. You can make a living, a budget for food daily with $20. I mean, you can make it easily, all right? Easily, daily, okay, at the most. Yes, obviously, if you go to somewhere pretty chic, pretty poopy, well, that's fine. Will be only one plate for $20. But I mean, since we are travelers, we are, we're part of the surroundings. We are not always spending money like, like full vacation for one day. So, what else? Transportation is very easy since we have this kind of Uber and Cabify and any other platforms. Man, go straight with those platforms because it's much better. You can handle your money, even you can pay without having change. So, I mean, you will be very, very safe with that, with those little things. I mean, it's a matter of being common sense. All right. What else? What else? For living, you can find places for months, mostly with furniture, okay, already furniture. So this will be almost like between $500 to $800. You can find a place. There are some more expensive if you go to places like El Poblado. You can spend like for the renting $1,000 monthly easily. Yes, but we have so many kind of choices like co-livings. They are very, they are very, very popular now with some, I mean, some kind of proposals so nice, very sophisticated, a lot of technology, personalized, and very private at the same time that you share with people. So this is basically those little tips that you can take into account. Let me see what kind of question we have here. I spent a month in Medellin and Cartagena all over holidays. I was astonished how inexpensive food and beautiful. Man, yeah, that's true. The service, this is something that you can notice at the very first time that you step on Colombia. the service everywhere, you know, they make you feel like home everywhere. I mean, in some rare cases you will see kind of, you know, bad service, but well, this is not everywhere, but you know, the coming rate is very warm, people around, you know, always asking you if you need more, if you want more. And that's very nice. Thank you for that comment. That, you know, makes me remind a lot of things. How does the tips work? Are always included? Yes. If you go to fixed price restaurants, then you will see on a tip on the bill, you will see the tip on it. So you don't have to take care of that. I mean, you can say no if you don't want to, but it's approximately the 10%. Somebody can correct me.
Yeah, it's the 10% usually. They normally ask you, because like I left Colombia for 3 years, and when back then they never asked for tip, and then I came back and I realized now they're asking for tips. So but it's like if you want to, it's not like in the US that is like that you have to, you know. So they normally ask you, do you want to pay for the service? ¿Quieres pagar el servicio? And then if you say yes, you tell them how much. You can tell them, I don't know, 20,000 pesos, 10,000 pesos, or 10%. It's just easy.
But usually you can see on the bill the amount of the tip, and you can freely say no, and nobody's going to take a look at you, you know, kind of weird or kind of embarrassing or something. I mean, you cannot worry about it. And if you don't have, well, something that very polite things that we say is, I don't have in this moment, maybe the next time. You see? Ahorita no puedo, pero luego le traigo algo. Entonces, this kind of a very usual thing, and they feel very comfortable. So don't worry about it. But it's a very good question. It's not a must. Nadia.
So the thing of tips, as Carolina says, we are not a tip culture, yeah. So as American culture, especially for Americans, yes, because in Europe it depends on the country. Yes, there are some countries that you put tips, though other countries that there are not in tip culture. We are not, and recently we have like a slowly started like this servicio thing, but especially for restaurants, they automatically add like the 10% and they ask you, do you want to include it or not, or whatever. But in the rest of the services, of course, if you tip, that is nice, because if you think that the service, the person that offers you this service did it like pretty well and you want to tip it, of course it is good, like a taxi driver, etc. But we don't tip like normally as Colombians, we don't tip taxi drivers or service that normally we get. We only tip like including the included on the bill, like restaurants. Yes, it's like, but if you want to do it, this is awesome, but because of course it is very well seen, and so this is just like the thing. So not, it is not necessary. Okay, so it's not gonna happen. If you
Uber is helpful if you tip, because you get better stars and it's easier to get Uber next time.
Okay.
Yeah, so you want to, if you really feel comfortable with a taxi driver, for example, this is what I do. I am Colombian, so I tip. So we are not in tip culture. So I struggle a lot when I live in the US. So it's like, because it's not on my mindset. I'm not a bad person. I want to tip, but sometimes I just leave without tipping. Yeah, so they immediately they say, "Hey, tip," and I'm like, "Oh my God," I'm so embarrassed by that. But if you feel like very comfortable with a taxi driver, yeah, so you feel safe, so you can tip it and you take the number, and later on this person will commit with you and with the service. So that's a really good strategy for the things that you feel comfortable with.
Yeah, and actually, since the prices are very comfortable in the restaurants, I mean, tipping is not a big deal, and well, we can support these people anyway. I mean, that's fine. I suppose that every one of us have worked as a waiter sometimes in life, so it's not that bad. Let's go for the next one. The next misconception. Oh, I love this one. Have you ever heard this, people? Tell me.
I never heard that.
No. What image do you have about Colombia? No, maybe before you travel, if I don't know, you have traveled already?
I've been several times, and I limit it to experience Bogota and surrounding area. So for me, is I love the metropolitan services in terms of like access to museums, shopping, great restaurants, and basically Bogota perfectly fits my desires, if you wish, from this perspective. For me, it's better to be close to the mountains than to be close to the beach. So
Okay, yeah, just a matter of likes. And yeah, imagine this. Well, sometime in the past, they usually think that we were, in Indians, like if we were like, native people. And well, basically it's not. It's very, very cosmopolitan cities and the surroundings. The architecture are very the architecture is very, very advanced so far. I mean, this is so lovely to see the combination between nature and architecture. For example, in Medellin, this is one of the magic things about that. And well, we have some spots. And something that is very beautiful about Colombia is that you can go from anywhere you are. For example, let's say Medellin or Cali or Bogota, and you can go like 40 minutes ago, 40 minutes away from that very same place, and then you will see different weather, you will see different landscape, you can see mountains, you can see paramos, you can see rivers, or you can see a very hot places, you see, and kind of deserts. So man, this is something that is a real privilege traveling around Colombia, having fun of this kind of how do you say, diversity. This is what I want to focus on this part. Mary.
Yes, and I agree on this diversity, and I love it. This is one of the first thing that I experienced when I arrived to Colombia, and I was so amazed because as a Canadian, I can drive for days, still be in my country, and still see the same thing: snow everywhere. So Colombia, this is like so rich in diversity, and yeah. And we don't necessarily hear about that in the media. That's one point that I think it's important to add, because and I think this is the case for any country, the media like to provoke. They like to entertain, they like to, scare people. They want a reaction from the public. This is what they do mostly. So for sure, I think as a digital nomad, the first thing to do is to be willing to go past these, message that the media are sharing just for entertaining people, because this is so far from what the reality is. And I think this is true not only for Colombia, but for all countries. And as a Canadian, foreigners, so they ask us, do you have electricity? Do you have this? Do you have so, every country has their own misconception. And I think that when we choose to travel, the first thing is to choose to be in a non-judgmental attitude. This is the first thing I think.
Yeah, great. Thank you for that point. Yes, so I invite you guys. So everywhere you go, either main city or not, try to explore the first surroundings. You will see how amazing it is, because it's not a lot of money, it's pretty close, and you will see different. I mean, it's unbelievable, because since we are, divided by three cordilleras, you see, ¿cómo se dice pisos térmicos?
I don't have any idea how this is very. I think that we learned in
Technical
the
name,
primary
yeah.
school.
Please,
So
please,
probably like three levels
somebody give me
of.
the technical name. Since we have so different thermic, ranges of high, man, sometimes it's unbelievable that you go to somewhere with jackets, with sweaters, jerseys and everything. Altitudes, thank you. We have the altitude is very diverse there. So you can be in huge trouble sometimes, with a lot of clothes, going to the wrong place, which is very hot. This is very typical. So I invite you to explore at the minimum, you will see 10 different little towns around everywhere you go. Yes. And obviously, every time that you know or you get to know a new place, then you will know about it, about another one. Yes. So it's like an infinite chain of places. And in that part, I invite you to explore in internet groups of expeditions, okay, which is a fantastic way to go meet places, meet people under a safety and control environment, which is and very, very cheap. So imagine you get involved with an expedition, then you will go to, I don't know, maybe hiking, or you go to rivers, or you go camping. Man, it's unbelievable. The amount of friends that you're gonna meet there is fabulous. I mean, for me, expedition groups, actually everywhere I go, I always look for it. And
It's
yeah,
thermal floors that you're looking for.
thermal
It's literally
floors.
calls the thermal floors.
Thank you, thank
So
you,
it's
man.
Wow, Stock, you are changing the Colombian word.
That's
Yes, we
great.
learned that
That's great.
pisos térmicos. Yeah, so because
Yeah.
no, but
So
I
we
actually went
paint
and looked
them
at
in the
the
school.
yeah, I had to look at to get it. But yes, it's thermal floors. That's exact. That's
Thermal floors
English.
is
thermal
exact
floor. Yeah.
the literal
Yeah.
translation.
So
Wow, that's
please
awesome.
be careful with the kind of clothes that you're bringing. Try to avoid, getting uncomfortable, you know, time because you are ignoring the weather. Yes. And yeah, you have a lot of diversity. And that's basically what we wanted to talk about this in this part. Tell me, Caroline, what is the next one? Oh man, this is beautiful, beautiful. I love this part because that changed my life when I started traveling. At the beginning, I was renting rooms, I was renting Airbnbs, and at some point I started having this kind of a annoying feeling of solitude. And I say, man, I supposed to travel to be happy, to be amazed all the time, to be surprised all the time. And I'm here stuck in an apartment. And then I found this beautiful concept, which is co-livings. And who is Kevin, who is the one who's going to Santa Marta, is one of the most beautiful co-livings in Colombia, is there. Belafonte. The name is Belafonte, like the name of the boat of one of the movies, and actually is inspired in a boat. And all the environments, like 4 floors, you have a share rooms and single private rooms, beautiful. And not only that, you have el viajero living. Yes. um, Jack, I'm going to answer that part in this very moment. You have the viajero living I'm talking about this north side of Colombia. In Rio Hacha, we have Palomino, some beautiful co-livings. You were going to be amazed. What is the difference between a co-living and between a hostel? Hostel is for low budget travelers, okay? And basically they are not working. So you can go for 1 day or 2 days, not precisely for a long stays, but in a co-living, you have a mix as the co-working and the living, okay? You have your privacy, your intimacy, but at the same time, you are surrounded by people. And the co-livings have this kind of culture of entertainment. So Every other day they have, you know, yoga plans, they have music plans, they have contact with different cultures, you know, the native people. For example, in Santa Marta, bring people from the Guayus, and they bring them to the city to share food or to share some kind of techniques of ¿cómo se dice coser? Sewing.
Yes, to sew.
To sew. So, man, it's beautiful. Yeah, the Vecino co-living is awesome. So I invite you guys, and this is one of the things that we're going to work very hard this year in the Digital Nomad Association, is having agreements and partnership with the co-livings, you know, because we want to bring people here to Colombia that to feel very safe, to have a lovely experience, and co-livings are amazing, amazing. There are co-livings all around. We have in the Llanos, we have in Boyacá. Boyacá is one of the places that nobody talks about, that you have to see this country. The landscapes are beautiful. It's like a paint. Okay, so you have to see that those proposals of the co-livings there, beautiful. And ¿cómo se llama? Villa de Leyva, yes, in Santander. So actually, there's a very huge business model that is increasing with such beautiful proposals. Darine, tell me.
Yes, hi, thank you. I wanted to ask about this topic because I feel like I'm stuck in Airbnbs and I don't want to be. So I think the co-living spaces are great, and even some of the hostels, but there have been times where I'm looking up a particular place, and it could be it's usually a hostel, but it could be any kind of, it usually pulls up booking.com. And when it does, there's a lot of information, and I try to be thorough reading what's included and everything. But what happened to me a couple of weeks ago is I went to book a room and it said that there was no deposit required and all that. So I'm like, good, I don't have to worry about doing my card and all this stuff. Then like 2 minutes later, I get a confirmation email, and it's like, all these instructions in Spanish on where to wire my 50% deposit, and that this must be done before I come, and I got to use this routing number with Bank of Colombia and all this stuff. And I'm like, whoa, that's not, I don't want to do all of that to save this room. So let me cancel. And even canceling was like a long process. So I don't know if I need to deal with booking.com anymore, because it's not like every places like that, but it was hard to know beforehand that, oh, we're going to require you to send a 50% deposit to our Colombian bank before you can actually reserve this room. And the room that I wanted was for a long period of time. It wasn't for 2 or 3 days. It was for a few weeks. So
may I ask you something? Was this particular place an international co-living?
No, I think it was a hostel.
A hostel?
It was either a hotel or a hostel.
Yeah, because what you're telling us is quite ridiculous, and I know this happening when we have some kind of international firms, okay, international brands of hostels or co-livings. But one of the lovely things that they never ask you for a deposit, for a fee, and never ask you for that, because you pay with your credit card and you have your place, and that's it. Okay, so every time you have this kind of issue, please let us know here in the association, because we are ready to back you up and negotiate if necessary for you, and let us be your voice, okay? And for you and for everyone who's here, who can hear us in the future, okay? Because this is not a normal line, you know? This is not a normal process to rent or to reserve a place. Even if you ask or you reserve Airbnb is easier than you mentioned. So I'm sorry that you've been through this situation, and it's very important letting us know.
Yeah, they didn't charge me. I didn't lose any money on it. I'm just saying that, like,
no,
it was hard to figure out how to book the room.
Yeah.
And like, okay, maybe I need to use a different website when there's no co-living, or maybe the hotel is too expensive or whatever.
Yeah, but let us thank you for sharing that with us, and for sure we will love to be your eyes and your ears here. Okay, I wrote here a place which is coliving.com, and then you can go in this one and search for the city. I mean, obviously first the country and then the city, and then you will see all the places that you have. It's a very nice portfolio that you will see. Nadia.
Thank you.
No, welcome.
So
Thank you.
continue with Dari's topic. So Dari, I got the same in Medellin recently. Yeah, so I was in Medellin so a few weeks ago, and then I book through booking.com. And then like a few days before my arrival, so I got an email. You have to deposit 50% of blah, blah, blah.
Oh.
This email, exactly the same. And I was like, oh, what?
But it's
I
in
was like,
Booking,
I
right?
didn't like. What?
It's in Booking.
Yeah, I think it's a booking.com theme. So I don't
Yeah.
know, but it's like I'm Colombian. So I was like, okay, well, so you are
Yeah.
dealing with a Colombiana. So it's
No, but
like
you
I'm
know,
not a gringa. So it's like I'm not gonna fall in those kind of traps. And so what I did is like I called booking and I deal with the person because he was like pushing me. It's like if I don't get the money, I will cancel your
yeah.
reservation
And that
right
is
now.
happening.
And
Yeah.
it was kind of a holiday. It was like this very important holiday in Colombia that everybody's traveling. So I was like, oh my God, if I lose this option, so I have to pay probably double. And in a
Yes.
hotel, and I wanted like a place to cook and something like more comfortable for me as a digital nomad because I had to work, etc. So
Yeah.
what I did is I was dealing with this person like, in Spanish and blah, blah. I say, okay, this is not in the policies of Airbnb, blah, 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 and also called Airbnb, booking.com Colombia. So I was dealing with that and then I didn't got that. So
Yes.
also, so what I suggest is like, as Jhon said, so I reaffirm. So you contact us and also we can call for you if you don't speak Spanish, or we can do it with that because it's like sometimes they are taking advantage of those situations of gringos. I'm saying gringos as any person that is not from Colombia.
Yeah.
Sorry
Yeah.
for the term.
And you know
But
what?
yeah.
Yeah. Be alert of those little details, because that is been happening lately in Booking mostly. I traveled to Valencia to spend the end of the year with my family there, and I had the same situation. But what happened is not told there. It's not detailed that you have to pay like 50% more as a deposit, and that money will be returned to you after you leave the place. Blah blah blah. Yeah, and it's basically for those things. But co-livings never going to be like that. So let's go for the next one.
Yes.
They're asking here for visa and these legal things. We're going to open in the near future a webinar just exactly for that with one of the specialists that we're booking. Okay, so
In fact, there's already 2 webinars about the visa on the YouTube channel. So of course
beautiful.
we're gonna make some more because it's a really
important topic.
important topic, but people can go and watch these 2 webinars already. Also, I got the visa in November. No, I got it like December 2nd, but I did the process in November. And yes, we can get 2 years, but they won't give you 2 years right now. So this is how they work right now. They just want to test the water, as I heard. And so they're going to give you 1 year, but then you can renew for another year.
Thank you for that point. Yeah, we're going to talk about that in one specific place, time for that, because we want to be very responsible with information. But thank you, Mary, that since you already been through that experience, man, it will be gold for us. Thank you very much. Okay, locals and friendship. Man, I invite you to be involved in the cultural events in the places that you go, in the cities that you go. Okay, and there are many apps that you can find, in internet, that you can get involved in events of food, coffee tasting or sports, like I told you before, excursions. And that is one of the biggest and easiest way to get involved with the people. And I have to say this is kind of, it's not nice, but and it's not 100% true, but people from outside of Bogota, for example, are more likely to be warm and to be more welcome and to be more sympathetic, you know, like very lovely people. Because in Bogota, I don't know if this is part of the story, maybe the history, that since this is a very cold place, we're very cold people. Okay, so then you will see a huge difference between the culture and the behavior and the approach people from cities outside Bogota and from Bogota. Okay, like I say, it's not 100%. It's not a bad reputation that I'm making propaganda, but I have to be honest. I am from Bogota. I am Rolo one, and I was part of those from that percentage of not nice people. You know, I consider myself that I start being nice when I start traveling, and I say, oh man, yeah, you were completely right. Okay, so people from little towns, people from cities different than Bogota are lovely. You will feel, man, that you don't want to leave those places.
für euch. Also spontane Idee, ne? Wir machen 51,49 für euch.
Okay, Dominic, we're hearing you. Debe solicitar extensión. Okay. So, locals and friends, let's go very quick. Get get close with people of the restaurants. If you're living in co-livings or everywhere, then you will see like you have partnerships everywhere, you know, in every corner. And that's one of the beautiful things in Bogota. I don't know if Mary have felt this. Like if you go and they already know you. Hi, ya llegó la gringa. Or hello, you know. And
Yes, yes, in my neighborhood, it's like that. But also the owner of the apartment that I'm renting, she invited me and she presented me to all the local stores and people when I signed the rent, which was so nice from her. I mean, I never saw that like anywhere else, like someone just like introducing me to my neighborhood and all the people there. So yes.
nice. Can you please remind me where you at so far?
I'm in Cedritos in Bogota.
Okay. Nice. That's very nice. Yeah. So I just want to take a little zoom in this part because it's very easy that you become friends of people from the stores, people from the corner, people who work around, you know, like with fruits and everything. So then you will feel like, you know, it's very beautiful when you walk around. Hola, mijo. Hola, John. Ahí va la gringa. You know, like if you're going like, if you were part of that city long time ago. So I want you to enjoy this, experience that, because I know that is something that makes you feel more than welcome. Okay, so let's go for the next one. Okay, here we go. For digital nomads, one of the priorities are in internet connection, right? So be careful with that because some places like little towns, you know, you have to confirm before. How to confirm that? Here with the association, in the group, asking people, you know, make your research, because sometimes we get some places very happy to spend in a very beautiful place that you see in the pictures. Indeed they are, but what happened? Internet is not that good, and then the headache is coming. Okay, for that thing, when it's happening, when you happen to have this kind of issues, one of my recommendation is like to buy SIM cards of the 3 servers that we have in Colombia, which is Claro, which is Movistar. Which one is the other one? I forgot it.
Is it Tigo?
Tigo. Tigo, thank you very
Mhm.
much. So, Claro has the biggest, ¿cómo se dice? Cobertura?
Coverage.
Coverage, thank you. Yeah, the biggest coverage in the country is Claro. But sometimes you go to somewhere and say, no, Claro doesn't work here. It works only Movistar. Yeah, but in matter of 1 kilometer, it changed. So bring another SIM card that you can easily recharge, and then you can have this kind of, you can solve internet matters, okay? But please, first, always ask for it. For example, Medellin is one of the best places in about internet, you know, because the headquarters actually from Claro are there. So obviously it's like a hometown service, and it's more than, you know, the less speed in Medellin is like 150 megabytes. You see? In Bogota, then we have a lot of things like ETV, Tigo, UNE, yes, and those services. I mean, you are full coverage in Bogota, but in some places, be careful with that. For example, I went to Santa Marta, very confident that I will be able to work, you know, with a lot of fluency. Oh man, it was a nightmare at the beginning. So be careful with that. If Tigo is the best, well, I have to say the best in matter of coverage is Claro, but it's a pain in the ass, the service. You know, the customer service is, oh my God. But it's not frequent that you have this kind of situation to talk with them. Tell us.
Yeah, I was told ETB in Bogota is great in terms of the service and quality. However, I end up instead commuting, you know, a 2 kilometers, also known as 2 hours, to work every day because internet in the apartment was speedy, but was just crashing every 10-15 minutes. So
where were you living at that
really
time?
is hard. Pardon?
Where were you living?
Chapinero, near 7th,
Rosales.
Septima y 54th.
Yeah, Rosales. Yeah. Well,
So I had to commute to Usaquén near Hacienda Santa Barbara, Centro Comercial.
yeah,
daily.
for sure you got to be one of our ambassadors.
Yes, él es un rolo puro.
Yeah. Marie, thank you, Isan.
Yes, for my part, I use an app, which is Airello. I don't know if anybody heard about it.
Can you
but,
please write it for us?
Yeah, I'm gonna put the link in the chat. So it's a eSIM service app, and I personally buy the global. So you can buy eSIM card for each country, or you can buy a global card. And I prefer to buy the global card. So like I travel, and wherever I go, it's switched automatically. The service is just switched. I don't have anything to do.
Beautiful.
And yeah, I mean, like I have a couple of connectivity problem, like maybe once or two a year, but it happens when you travel. You know, internet service are not the same everywhere, but mostly I'm very happy about it. I think that if you, maybe it's a little bit more expensive that if you would buy like a SIM card in the country, but I feel like I feel more free with this service. I don't have to, you know, yeah.
Yeah,
thank you.
That's great.
Please write it down the thing. Continue.
That's a great point, Marie. I'm from US. I live in US, so Google Fi service. I have no data roaming or anything like that. Data roaming around the globe, so I can go to Europe or Colombia or Mexico with a phone and data, no problems.
Yeah, yeah.
but it's not
Exactly.
obviously available for everybody. But for those with US based, it's good.
Yeah, it's mainly for US area, yeah, that we can have this Google phone service. Yeah, thank you. So let's go for the next one. I think that was the last one. Oh yeah. Guys, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for sharing with us your questions, your experiences, like Mary, like Nettie, like Caroline, like obviously Rollo. Yes, Kevin. Thank you very much for that. We really enjoy to have this kind of lifestyle, and Colombia is a very lovely place to spend your time, to open your mind, to feel this kind of experiences that are not very typical. And well, we will be here around. You can ask us anytime, anything that you need. We're very happy. Thank you very much, Nadia, Caroline, and Mary, and Francois, for inviting me to be part of this journey and this travel, this dream. And I will be more than glad to be useful anytime you ask me. My name is Jhon Darwin. Please feel free to ask me anything. I'm around the group, and that's it. My main topic, my main expertise is accelerate businesses, finding hidden opportunities, and this is basically what I do all around, in this case, Europe. So thank you very much, chicos. Muchas gracias. Bienvenidos a Colombia cuando quieran.
Thank you, John, for such an amazing conversation. I think we have had like so many points, and we have some other questions around. So I think perhaps later on you also can post, we can post like the answers on Facebook, our Digital Nomads Facebook group, and also in our YouTube channel. So this is going to be on YouTube as well. So also is to invite you guys, or to all the Digital Nomads, to join our membership. So we are like planning just to have like more partners, so that you can benefit with. So we have like mainly three things for Digital Nomads as an association. So we have like events, online and in-person events. Also, we have a special discounts with co-livings, for example, because this was like one of the main topics here, the co-livings, and also hostels. Like some people, they just want to have like a weekend escape or things like that. So also we have like some tourist agencies that can help you out, guide tours in or around the country, and also access to our community, like a special community and a special Facebook group that we have for you guys. So if you have any question, don't hesitate to contact us, because it's very important for us to have like kind of feedback of what are the things that you would like as a digital nomad, and what do you like for us, from us, to help you out. Okay, so yeah, so that's all for today. So I just want to thank you again to the co-founders of the Digital Nomad Association, to Marie-Eve, to Francois, Carolina, and of course to our excellent ambassador John. So see you guys in the next opportunity. Ciao.
Thank you so much. See you soon.